Coming up from Hard Rock Live, the main event, Abraham Miranda 2, unfinished business. Now, going into the first fight, people knew these were two strong, tough, talented fighters. But who knew when they got in the ring, it would be so combustible and so personal. Al Bernstein has a look back at Abraham Miranda 1.
From the opening bell, this match was competitive as both fighters continually landed damaging punches. Midway through the fourth round, Miranda broke Abraham's jaw.
His jaw's broken. It's broken.
大家好，老师从业中医男科30余年，帮助了数千名海内外华人朋友通过中药调理重回男性雄风。如果你也存在房事时间短、勃起无力、硬度差、中途疲软、肾虚、前列腺炎等问题，现在就加中医老师微信574-993-200，纯中药，一人一方，治根治本，帮助你持续坚挺20至40分钟，补肾壮阳，延时助勃，彻底告别快男软男。记住微信574-993-200。
2 more times for questionable low blows.
That's 1 point. Low blow.
Although he may not have been given adequate warnings. Miranda lost his 5th point in the 11th for yet another low blow.
Team up, team up, team up. Oh, yeah, let's go, let's go. All right, over there.
When the final bell rang and the scores were totaled, Abraham, who had fought 8 rounds with a broken jaw but had a 5-point cushion, won a relatively close unanimous decision, while Miranda suffered his first loss.
While Miranda felt the judging was unfair, it doesn't take away from Abraham's display of heart and courage. The pain, the disfigured face, you saw it all. In surgery immediately after the fight, Abraham had 2 titanium plates and 22 screws implanted into his jaw, which was broken in 2 places. Some feared his career would never recover, but he went on to defend his title 4 times by knockout. His toughness personified by the quote, "Miranda couldn't even beat me with a fractured jaw." He may have a point. Moments from now, Miranda gets his chance to even the score in what has the makings, Al, of just another outstanding fight.
And it does because of the makeup of these two fighters, that's for sure. For instance, if Edison Miranda had grown up in the Old West, I think it's very likely he would have been a gunslinger. And in a metaphorical sense, he is one now because few boxers are as committed to seeking a knockout at any cost. But when you're fighting a man you couldn't knock out even though he had a broken jaw for 8 rounds, how do you win? Well, you do it by fighting the right fight strategically and technically, because this fight might go a while. And part of that right fight for Miranda is using the jab. Edison Miranda has a really good one. And he needs to be more disciplined by not throwing wild left hooks that Abraham can counter. He needs to use the right hand early and often. It's his big punch. With a good jab as a rangefinder, this sets up the punch that carries Miranda's big payload, and that, of course, is the right hand. Now, Abraham covers up well, so the right hand has to be thrown a little wider to get in. But throwing punches wider, never a problem for Edison Miranda. King Arthur Abraham better make his kingdom the center of the ring, because he gets in trouble when he's on the ropes. Now, he tends to shut down for periods in fights and just not punch. He can't afford that tonight. His counter right hand to take advantage of Miranda mistakes, well, that was a big factor in the first match between these two. An uppercut and a landed left hook will end a Miranda flurry, and then Abraham will uncoil with his counter punches. First, a left hook, but it's the right hand counter that really hits the mark. This is the punch Abraham thinks will take him to victory tonight.
The very confident Edison Miranda in incredible story of hardship, abandoned by his parents in Colombia, survived in the streets. He was left homeless and hungry by corrupt fight managers and promoters. Things finally turned upon relocating to Puerto Rico, and his career took off here in South Florida, where he is very popular, as you can hear. He's 6-0 right here at Hard Rock Live, known for his trash talk, predicted a 9th-round knockout, and said this time he'll break the other side of Abraham's jaw. He usually gets right to it, Al, but many feel he will really come out bombing. Number one, to avoid a repeat of the first fight when he thought he got robbed. And secondly, the Abraham people think he'll tire as the fight goes on.
Well, to avoid that happening for the first time in his career, Miranda, who's hearing it from this crowd that loves him, has hired a professional dietitian for the whole camp. It's made him in great shape, and you'll see it when he takes off that top. He's got a heck of a body for this fight.
4-1 with 3 knockouts since Abraham. The punishing loss to Kelly Pavlik, but 2 straight KO wins at 168. He sent David Banks through the ropes and halfway out of the ring, a candidate for knockout of the year. Well, he's looking all business right now. Edison Miranda, who wants his sweet redemption. Face, not used to this kind of reaction. He is looking better physically than the last time he fought Miranda. Undefeated King Arthur, a mystery to most American fight fans. His United States debut, an Armenian who moved to Berlin when he was 14, wildly popular in Germany. In fact, some felt he was the beneficiary of a hometown decision over Miranda. He postponed his mandatory to renew this rivalry, really wants to make a name in the States, keeps his title, win, lose, or draw. But Al, with a victory, the possibility of a mega fight with Kelly Pavlik.
Well, and if he would get that, he would face the same kind of hostility he's facing right now. They're talking about that fight if it happened maybe in Cleveland in front of a big crowd. He's got to get past this hostile crowd and Edison Miranda tonight, and we'll see how he reacts to this. He really has almost never been in a crowd that didn't love him.
Exactly. He comes off a stirring 12th round KO of Elvin Ayala in March. A never surrender mentality. King Arthur says he's ready to conquer America. As we check the numbers, the tail of the tape, Miranda, who is looking more cut and muscular since moving up to super middleweight, came back down to 165 yesterday. We weighed him tonight, 174.5. Abraham's up from middleweight, was initially a half-pound over the catch weight, then hit the mark less than an hour later. Tonight he's 172, so at least they're similar. The rules clouded by confusion, you'll recall, in the first fight. There's no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. And if a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, Florida, getting ready for Abraham versus Miranda 2, a non-title fight that feels like a title fight. The official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, for boxing's much anticipated rematch featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Seminole Warriors Boxing and Zowerland Event in association with the Seminole Tribe of Florida, Chairman Mitchell Cypress, Cafe Bustelo, and Showtime. This bout is sanctioned by the Florida State Boxing Commission, Chairman Ramiro Ortiz, Vice Chairman Don Bowen, Commissioners Mel Gerardo, James Steinecke, and Dr. Donald Perry, with the Executive Director Tom Malloy. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Alan Fields, Dr. Donald Weiss, and our timekeeper at the bell, Carmine Chiricella. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside, from Wolverhampton, England, John Coyle. From Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Harry Davis. And from Rivervale, New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Our 3rd man to the ring, a referee in charge, hailing from Jacksonville, Florida, Telis Asimenios. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening, a rematch special attraction scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, it's showtime! Introducing you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks, fighting out of Carolina, Puerto Rico, by way of Barranquilla, Colombia. He weighed in at 165 pounds with a record of 30 wins, 2 losses. He has 26 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the number 6 super middleweight in the world by the IBF, number 2 in the world by the WBC. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting and explosive Edison Pantera Miranda. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks and joining us from Berlin, Germany. He weighed in at 166 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 26 wins, no losses, 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight making his live U.S. television debut, please welcome the long-time and undefeated IBF middleweight champion of the world, introducing King Arthur Abraham. Once again, our referee in charge, Telis Asimenios, now to give instructions.
Gentlemen, you have received instructions in the dressing rooms. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. Good luck. God bless to both of you. Anything below here is a low blow. Your belt is looking good. Shake hands. God bless.
Miranda refusing to look at Abraham. Miranda typically comes out winging. Abraham wants to start faster, but Abraham's folks convinced Miranda will sputter after 4, so somewhat contradictory there. I think Abraham just wants to strike first this time and not get caught early as in the first fight.
I think a key point about all this is, if we look back dispassionately at that first fight, Abraham himself was able to stun Miranda a little bit early in the fight, but then once his jaw was broken after 4 rounds, of course, was a little bit less effective. So we shouldn't believe that Abraham isn't capable of hurting Miranda. He is.
No mystery. Miranda wants a street brawl. He's more effective coming forward, doesn't fight as well going backward. Abraham's got to push Miranda back, put on the pressure, bully him. Miranda's money punch, the monster right. That's the punch that broke Abraham's jaw. He's sometimes wild and undisciplined. There's the right hand by Miranda. Abraham also has a huge right. He can drop you with either hand.
You know, Telis Asimenios, the referee, is going to be a very key figure in this. Let me tell you one of the reasons. You look at how Abraham keeps his hands. That's to prevent you from keep hitting his head, and you have to go to the body. Some of those body blows, of course, were called low by Randy Newman in the last fight. Edison Miranda doesn't think they're going to be tonight if they're not low, in his opinion. We'll see.
And Asamenios knows Miranda's style very well. He refereed his last fight. So he's been in there with him before. Body shots by Abraham. And Abraham, yeah, you're right. He goes into that defensive shield and he suddenly explodes with a burst of hard punches. Part of his M.O. But he does fight sporadically.
Yeah, and he's very aware that coming here, he's got to punch a little bit more if he expects to win a decision. Now, their theory is Miranda's going to all of a sudden fall apart after 6 or 7 rounds. If that doesn't happen, they need plan B.
And Miranda, just like in the first fight, taking the early initiative. Yep. Boy, both just took the other's best shots in the first fight. They absorbed some massive body shot there. And now here's a twist. Abraham's told to keep him up.
Well, that one did straight, just a smidge low.
It's just amazing there were no knockdowns in that first fight. And still astonished that the Miranda couldn't drop Abraham in his horrible condition. Right hand by Miranda. He's got Abraham where Abraham doesn't want to be, deep in the corner.
The jab of Miranda is making itself known a little bit, an important punch for him. You can see that these guys make a very good matchup. They really do.
Half hook, half uppercut by Miranda that just grazed Abraham, fortunately for Arthur. Yeah, the jab, he sort of abandoned it against Kelly Pavlik, but we saw more of it in the first fight against Abraham. It was effective. Vivian Dude, our German translator. Felix de Jesus, our Spanish translator.
Du musst rechts rumgehen, ja? Verstehst du? Dann wird deine Schlagern länger. Pass auf.
He needs to go right because you've got to be careful for his difficult side.
Ja? Aufkommen, geh nach rechts raus. Schön abblocken. Und du musst mal auf so kurze Rippe hauen.
Take away his attention. Get him so he doesn't know what's coming.
Right, let's initiate. When you initiate, he holds off a little bit. Don't let him get on you. He'll die after 5 or 6 rounds, so keep going.
Hey, they feel the same way.
That's everybody's mantra, isn't it?
I guess. Jose Bonilla in the corner, the trainer for Miranda, a trainer/father figure for Edison Miranda. Uli Wegner, a famed German trainer, working with Abraham. Worked with guys like Sven Otka and Marcus Bayer, certainly not big punchers like Arthur Abraham.
No, but men that helped revive boxing in Germany and make it very big, which it is now.
Long-time super middleweight champions, yes.
Miranda, when he uses, there's a nice uppercut on the inside. Miranda, when he uses that jab, I'll tell you, it's a whole different fighter. You mentioned against Kelly Pavlik, when he was using that punch more effective, kind of abandoned it. What did I say in the keys? No wild left hooks by Miranda. He apparently did not read my keys. He just threw a wild left hook. Don't they pay attention to those things?
We'll send him a tape after the show. A little late, but Miranda again taking Abraham into the corner. And Abraham invites him in. He says, come on in. You're not hurting me.
Now, that's Abraham's version of the rope-a-dope. And this is what he does. This is the way he fights. And then he'll all of a sudden counterpunch out of this posture.
It's interesting. Miranda usually looks to intimidate, but Abraham's trying to pull a reverse here on Miranda.
And, you know, Abraham believes.
Body shot by Miranda.
That was a beauty. They believe Miranda's going to punch himself out in 4 or 5 rounds doing it.
And that's exactly why Abraham is taking this posture.
And he did that in the first fight, too. That's his style. It's what he does. But he's going to accentuate it against Miranda.
Yeah, they got word that recently Miranda hired a professional nutritionist, a dietitian. Their feeling is when that happens, there's a problem with the fighter. But we'll see.
Carlos Asamenios warned Edison Miranda, I think, for using his head on the inside.
Well, he got 2 points deducted in the 5th round of the first fight. Oh, what a hard body shot by Miranda.
Those are thunderous punches. Now, they're wearing different gloves in this fight. The Reyes gloves being worn by Abraham and the Everlast gloves by Miranda. Ironically, Reyes gloves are thought of as the puncher's gloves, and yet it's Miranda who's this monstrous puncher who's wearing Everlast.
Confidence.
Could be. He's having a good round, Edison Miranda. And it's not surprising Abraham would give away a few of these early rounds.
And Miranda's parading around the line. Here we go again.
I didn't see that punch. I don't know if it was low or not.
Are you okay? Alles klar? It's okay.
Got right in the cuff.
Now, there's no point being deducted. Yeah,
Alles klar?
Or at least Abraham's claiming it was in the cuff. I didn't see it.
We'll have a chance, I'm sure, to take a look at it.
Abraham motions to the referee. I mean, how many times is this guy going to get away with this? But we'll have to wait and see.
Honestly, in fast motion, couldn't tell whether that was low or not.
Below the belt. Watch your punches, okay? No more. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, he's being admonished by Asamenios, but of course he lost 3 points for low blows in the first fight, 2 for the intentional headbutt, so 5 altogether.
Now Abraham being a little bit more aggressive. You know that Miranda will concentrate on the head now, but Abraham's so good at covering up to the head, you have to go to the body.
Abraham, of course, had 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes to recover. He only used 40 seconds.
Well, guess what? He used to a nice body shot that was legal, Miranda, and Abraham comes down.
Countering body shots by Abraham.
Done.
Well, just like the second round in the first fight, Miranda hits after the bell, but not as.
Well, let's see whether this punch was low or not. There will be a left hand downstairs or a right uppercut. Well, guess what? It was low. Arthur Abraham had every right to wince on that. When it was an uppercut, he was trying to come up to the body, and it landed very low. So Edison Miranda gets himself in hot water again, and Asamenios said no more.
Das liegt schon weich. Aber weißt was ich meine, ja?
You know what I mean? You have to go over the right.
Schön wegen deiner rechten Hand schützen.
You got to keep your left and protect yourself, cover yourself. You're going to do it. You're strong.
Vorbereiten, dann muss mehr kommen.
Keep it clean and go for it.
Komm mal, Junge.
Al, if our interpretation is correct, it appeared as if Uli Vegnar, the feisty trainer for Arthur Abraham, he said something to the effect, just get in there and fight. Stop messing around. And let's see what happens here. I think he thought that Abraham may have been faking.
You know, I mean, he did get hit with a tough uppercut. Here's when Miranda gets in trouble. When he tries to throw the uppercut and it's a body punch. If he only threw the right hand to the body or the hook, for the most part, he's okay. It's when he throws those uppercuts that he gets in trouble. That's what most of the low blows were in the first fight.
There's those body shots by Abraham. That's been very successful for Abraham. Here in the early going, big right hand on the jaw by Abraham. That was his best punch of the night. Miranda says, let me see what else you got, Arthur. These are two tough, well, I can't say it on TV.
Abraham claiming that was low and it wasn't. So he's looking for some more calls. He's looking for some points.
I think you're right.
Even though the first one was unquestionably low.
You know, even if the 5 points weren't deducted in the first fight, Abraham would have won the fight. It's amazing.
Well, according to the story, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm saying, yeah, I don't agree with it. But
now, Abraham's landed some nice punches in this round. Miranda's been busier, as mostly the case against any fighter against Abraham, because Abraham is very economical with his punches, but Arthur Abraham has landed some nice shots in this round.
Yeah, Abraham's waiting for a home run.
Abraham's problem is that here he is in the United States, not in his comfort zone, both in every sense, and he's going to have to punch to win this fight.
Stop! No posting! No posting! Let's go, you got it? Let's go, back!
I'm not sure what that warning was for. I guess it's for pushing.
It sounded like he said no pushing.
I didn't see what Miranda was doing.
Well, he's certainly trying to take control of Semenios, no question about that. Of course, there was heavy... Oh, look out!
Wow.
That wobbled Miranda. I think that was a right hand. It wobbled Miranda. His knees buckled.
Even then, Abraham didn't come forward. He just does not want to do anything but counterpunch. Oh, great left hook by Abraham.
Yeah, that was a good combination by Abraham. The left hook did the most damage. This is a big round for Abraham. A right hand there, but he couldn't get it through Abraham's guard. It's so tough to do that. That's why he has to loop around sometimes to go to the side of Abraham's head. Final seconds of round 3. And it's heating up.
Abraham landing that right hand over the left of Edison Miranda. One of about 3 or 4 big punches Abraham landed in that last round. Now, this is where Miranda is warned here, and I'm not sure what that warning was for. Grabbing and holding and hitting, I guess. I am not sure what that warning was for. And then Abraham at the end of the round landed some big punches. Now, that was actually a little more just off-balance action by Edison Miranda. I'm not sure how much he was hurt, but he got hit with some big shots.
Du musst immer wieder hier absichern. Haut und wuchtig den Kreuz rein. Komm mal, Junge, komm.
Do a counter punch. Come on, let's do it.
Well, if you'll recall in the first fight, this was a sensational round for Abraham, round 4. He really stepped up the attack and found his rhythm. We'll see what happens here in the rematch.
Of course, the other problem was in round 4 was when he got his jaw broken right at the end of the round.
The end of the round, yes.
He liked the first part without the second part.
That's true. That was a right hand, but... Oh, look out! Miranda is down! 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, come on! Can you continue? Okay. It was a left hand by Arthur Abraham, and now he's looking to close the show.
You wouldn't have expected a left hook from Abraham to be the punch to knock Miranda down, but he landed a good counter one earlier in the last round, and
big trouble. Big combination upstairs by Abraham. Yeah, you're looking for the right hand, and it was a left hook. That's the 4th time. Miranda's down, making number 5 now. He's down 2 times here in the 4th, and he's got 2 minutes to go. 6, 7. Hey, come here. Come here. Javier. Hey. Let's go. Pavlik put him down 2 times in the 6th. He's down 2 times here. He's down for a 3rd time, and it's over. There's no 3 knockdown rule, but regardless, tell us how Semenios says good night to Edison Miranda. It ends in round 4. How about that for irony? It was round 4 where he had his jaw broken in the first fight. It's round 4 where he ends it with 3 big knockdowns in the rematch.
We said Edison Miranda was a gunslinger. He will get you or you will get him. He got gotten tonight by this man who did it with an unlikely punch, counter left hooks. He's not a big left hook artist, but he landed them tonight, and they were too much for Edison Miranda. And the king has come and started to build his court in America, he hopes.
He came to conquer, and he did. And for Arthur Abraham, the rematch well worth waiting for. Took almost 2 years, and he's done it.
Much to the chagrin of a lot of this crowd, of course, Miranda. This is his home. He was 6-0 in this ring and in this arena. Not anymore. Not undefeated now.
No revenge for Edison Miranda. Celebration time for Arthur Abraham.
Abraham was able to get it done with a kind of unlikely punch, the left hook. He's got one, but it's not his stock and trade. Well, actually, the first one, right hand started the problem in the first knockdown. Then the left hook got there. So the right started the damage, and then the left hook. But in the second one, it was the left hand that got to him. That one just barely missed. And this one got there very, very strongly. Miranda had been hurt, of course, already, and Edison Miranda not known as the greatest defensive fighter, and so when he was in trouble, his defense failed him. Abraham, very smart, just cranking up those hooks. He knew that punch would land. Every time he threw that hook, it was getting in, and that was the end of the fight, the third and final knockdown, and the end of Miranda's hope to get revenge.
A bruising assault by Arthur Abraham. No revenge for Miranda. What could be a hugely important win for Abraham.
Thank you, my father.
With talk of a unification showdown with Kelly Pavlik. Arthur Abraham does it again, 2 for 2 versus Miranda, doing it in his American debut and coming up in weight against the guy who had already made the adjustment, fighting at super middleweight. Oh, what a bad night for Edison Miranda. Abraham, meanwhile, remaining undefeated, now 27-0 with 22 knockouts. Miranda falls to 30-3, 2 of those 3 losses to Abraham. Let's get the official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 13 seconds of round number 4. Our referee in charge, Telis Asemenyo, starts the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout and still undefeated King Arthur Abraham.
An estimated 3 million viewers expecting to see this one tonight on German TV at 4 o'clock in the morning, Al. So a lot of folks, if they stayed up late in Germany, are celebrating right now.
Drinking a little coffee, and they are happy to see this result. A milestone victory for Arthur Abraham, and one that could propel him to some major fights.
Huge win for King Arthur Abraham, and he does it on the road in his American debut. He was booed coming into the ring. He just smiled it off. Edison Miranda was cheered coming into the ring, but it's Arthur Abraham with an emphatic victory. Let's get it up to Jim Gray in the ring. Jim?
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Arthur, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's quite a way to come to America in your debut. Why were you so confident tonight in your rematch? Vivian Du will translate for us in German.
Warum hattest du so viel Vertrauen, dass du das schaffst heute?
Weil ich bin eine wahre Champion, ich bin ein Weltmeister und ein Weltmeister muss Vertrauen haben an sich und muss überall kämpfen. Dann ist wahre Champ.
I'm a true champion, and a true champion has confidence in himself. So I was here to make the title here.
What was the difference tonight?
Was war der Unterschied heute?
Im Ring gibt's keinen Unterschied. Ist überall gleich.
There is no difference. Every ring's the same.
You know, the difference in the fight. In your last fight against Edison, it was a difficult struggle for you. Obviously, there was a lot of penalties, and you broke your jaw. What was the difference in your performance tonight that seemingly made this so easy?
Was war der Unterschied im letzten Kampf? Letztes Mal hattest du deinen Kiefer gebrochen und da waren Low Blows. Also was ist der Unterschied heute?
Ja, heute habe ich mehr aufgepasst. Dieser Kieferbruch war aus Versehen. Das war nicht absichtlich. Aber heute habe ich mehr aufgepasst, habe mehr ihn schlagen lassen, dass er müde wird. Dann habe ich auf meine Chance gewartet und dann eiskalt ausgenutzt.
I was very cautious this time. Last time I didn't pay attention as much to that, but I made sure that wouldn't happen again. I tired him out, and then I knocked him down.
Let's take a look at the television monitor and describe, if you can, please, the knockdowns.
Bitte beschreib dein K.O., wenn du kannst, wenn du jetzt die Kamera anguckst.
Ja, ich habe auf meine Rechte konzentriert und Rechte hat genau gesessen auf sein Kinn.
That was number 1.
He concentrated his right and pointed it directly at his chin.
Here comes number 2.
Nummer 2.
Ja, jetzt muss... Boom.
Left, we saw that.
Ja, ich wollte eigentlich eine rechte Cross schlagen, dann hat nicht gesessen und da kam die linke, weil er so offen war.
He wanted to take care of it with the left, but then he had to do the right, and he took care of it with the right then.
And then the finish, here to the fight.
Und jetzt das Ende zum Kampf.
Boom. Ja, dann wollte ich mit rechts wieder gleiche das machen, weil er von rechts, dreht seinen Kopf und dann mit linke Kopfwagen passt genau rein.
I wanted to do the same with the right, but then he turned his head, so I had to take the left.
And boom kind of is the international language.
And I won't speak Thank you, America, for your hospitality. Thank you, Showtime, for your big chance. And I wish one fight with Oscar De La Hoya and Kelly Pavlik. And I feel me in America very good. American people is very nice people. I like America, and I come again.
Well, we hope so. Congratulations, and thank you for coming over here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's turn over side here to Edison Miranda. Edison and Felix De Jesus will interpret for us. Edison, what happened here tonight? It was a total dominance tonight in the ring.
¿Qué pasó, Edison? Hoy estuvo bien dominante el contrincante.
Pues la verdad que no tengo ninguna queja. Hice la mejor preparación de mi vida. Me preparé muy bien durante 2 meses, pero no sé, lo sentía demasiado fuerte. No, desde el primer round lo sentí muy fuerte y no podía dominarlo.
I have no quarrels today with the fight. He was prepared to the maximum. He prepared for 2 months. He did feel him a little stronger in this fight.
Abraham totally dominated this entire fight. Much, much different than the first fight when he was able to break his jaw and then all the penalties got in his way. Why was tonight's fight so different?
¿Por qué la pelea de hoy fue tan diferente después que en la primera pelea tú le rompiste la quijada y hoy él fue tan dominante?
Pues no lo sé porque esta vez estaba mejor preparado que la otra vez. Ahora estaba 100%, la otra vez estaba un 50%. Pues no sé, pero no sé qué pasó, pero la verdad que lo sentía muy fuerte para mí, muy fuerte.
I really don't know what happened because tonight I was 100% prepared. The first fight I was only 50% prepared, and I just felt him too strong today.
Is he okay?
¿Está bien?
Sí, está bien, es un gran campeón y la verdad que eso fue el problema. No me sentía capacitado para enfrentarlo porque me sentía muy débil delante de él.
He felt very weak today. He's a great champion, and that was what happened tonight.
Edison, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Steve.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. So Edison Miranda down 3 times in the 4th at the hands of this man, King Arthur Abraham. But interestingly, Al, Miranda was ahead on all 3 scorecards by the count of, I think, 3-1 and 1 points at the time of the stoppage.
Well, he had several very good rounds, actually, for himself, but was hurt with that. Actually, his first punch was the right hand, then the left hooks got to him, and Arthur Abraham more aggressive when he got him in trouble than he had been in that first fight early in the fight.
The pot of gold, of course, is the pride of Youngstown, the new pride of Youngstown, Kelly Pavlik. Where do you see this road leading for Arthur Abraham?
Well, I know the Pavlik people want to fight Arthur Abraham. They want it to be a big event. It's an international fight. Arthur Abraham wants to fight Kelly Pavlik. I think that's an intriguing matchup and one that could very likely happen very soon.
Do you think Arthur Abraham won over the American fans? Didn't start so well when he walked into the ring, but did he win over the fans here?
Well, he did it in 2 ways, I think. Number one, of course, his thundering knockout of Edison Miranda, which was reminiscent of Kelly Pavlik's knockout of Edison Miranda after a very competitive fight, certainly impressed people. And then secondly, good PR, man. Arthur Abraham, for himself, by making those comments about America being gracious to him and how much he loves America and wants to come back here. And that was the mantra leading up to this fight from his people. They want to establish him. They want to come to this country. And he and Pavlik, I'll tell you what, that's an intriguing fight.
Hey, how about the new mandatory, a fellow named Raul Marquez?
You know, we would be remiss if we didn't mention him at the end of the show. For this 36-year-old who has been such a good force for boxing, this is a very, very, really tender moment in a way because he fought his way back at age 36 now with an important win, could get a shot if at some kind of title, maybe not Abraham's now if he goes and fights Pavlik, but it's a big win for Raul Marquez.
All right, good working with you as usual, and here's how it officially goes in the books. 36-year-old former champion Raul Marquez proved that he still has plenty of fight left. He beats previously undefeated Giovanni Lorenzo, 9 years younger. He's one step closer now to regaining a title. What a night for Raul Marquez. And in the main event, which you just saw, a thunderous 4th round for Edison Miranda, for Arthur Abraham. The King continued his reign over Miranda, beating him for the 2nd time in 2 years. No revenge for Pantera as Arthur Abraham conquers America in his U.S. debut. For more information on all the upcoming Showtime sports events, we invite you to visit our website at show.com. That's SHO.com. That'll do it for another edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. We hope you enjoyed it. For Al Bernstein, Jim Gray, and our entire crew, Steve Albert saying so long from Hollywood, Florida.
On September 9th, the Emmy Award-winning series Inside the NFL returns for its second season on Showtime. On September 12th, catch a special edition of Showbox The New Generation as Mikkel Kessler puts his title on the line against Guzmiel Perdomo and Andre Ward takes on Shelby Pudwill.